Hello, everybody. This is The Home in the World by Rabindranath Tagore. Chapter 9, Bimala's Story, Part 15. For a time, I was utterly at a loss to think of any way of getting that money. Then, the other day, in the light of intense excitement, suddenly the whole picture stood out clear before me. Every year, my husband makes a reverence offering of 6,000 rupees to my sister-in-law at the time of the Durga Puja. Every year, it's deposited in her account at the bank in Calcutta. This year, the offering was made as usual, but it's not yet been sent to the bank, being kept meanwhile in an iron safe in a corner of the little dressing room attached to our bedroom. Every year, my husband takes the money to the bank himself. This year he has not yet had an opportunity of going to town. How could I fail to see the hand of Providence in this? The money has been held up because the country wants it. Who could have the power to take it away from her to the bank? And how could I have the power to refuse to take the money? The goddess, reveling in destruction, holds out her blood cup, crying, "Give me drink, I'm thirsty." I will give her my own heart's blood with the 5,000 rupees. Mother, the loser of that money will scarcely feel the loss, but me you will utterly ruin. Many a time in the old days have I inwardly called the Senior Rani a thief, for I charged her with wheedling money out of my trusting husband. After her husband's death, she often used to make away with things belonging to the estate for her own use. This I used to point out to my husband, but he remained silent. I would get angry and say, "If you feel generous, make gifts by all means, but why allow yourself to be robbed?" Providence must have smiled then at these complaints of mine, for tonight I am on the way to rob my husband's safe of my sister-in-law's money. My husband's custom was to let his keys remain in his pocket when he took off his clothes for the night, leaving them in the dressing room. I picked out the key of the safe and opened it. The slight sound it made seemed to wake the whole world. A sudden chill turned my hands and feet icy cold, and I shivered all over. There was a drawer inside the safe. In opening this, I found the money, not in currency notes, but in gold rolled up in paper. I had no time to count out what I wanted. There were 20 rolls, all of which I took and tied in a corner of my sari. What a weight it was! The burden of the theft crushed my heart to the dust. Perhaps notes would have made it seem less like thieving, but this was all gold. After I had stolen into my room like a thief, it felt like my own room no longer. All the most precious rights which I had over it vanished at the touch of my theft. I began to mutter to myself as though telling mantras. Bande Mataram, my country, my golden country. All this gold is for you, for none else. But in the night, the mind is weak. I came back into the bedroom where my husband was asleep. Closing my eyes, I passed through and went off to the open terrace beyond, on which I lay prone, clasping to my breast the end of the sari tied over the gold. Each one of the rolls gave me a shock of pain. The silent night stood there, with forefinger upraised. I couldn't think of my house as separate from my country. I robbed my house. I robbed my country. For this sin, my house had ceased to be mine. My country was also estranged from me. Had I died begging for my country, even unsuccessfully, that would have been worship, acceptable to the gods. But theft is never worship. How then can I offer this gold? Ah me, I'm doomed to death myself. Must I desecrate my country with my impious touch? The way to put the money back is closed to me. I have not the strength to return to the room, take again the key, open once more the safe. I would swoon at the threshold of my husband's door. The only road left now is the road in front. Neither have I the strength to deliberately sit down and count the coins. Let them remain behind the coverings. I can't calculate. There was no mist in the winter sky. The stars were shining brightly. If, thought I to myself, I lay out there, I had to steal these stars one by one like golden coins from my country, these stars so carefully stored up in the bosom of the darkness. Then the sky would be blinded, the night widowed forever, and my theft would rob the whole world. But was not also this very thing I had done a robbing of the whole world? not only of money, but of trust, of righteousness. I spent the night lying on the terrace. When at last it was morning, and I was sure that my husband had risen and left the room, then only with my shawl pulled over my head could I retrace my steps towards the bedroom. My sister-in-law was about with her brass pot watering her plants. When she saw me passing in the distance, she cried, "Have you heard the news, Choturani?" I stopped in silence, all in a tremor. It seemed to me that the rolls of sovereigns were bulging through my shawl. I feared they'd burst and scatter in a ringing shower, exposing to all the servants of the house the thief who made herself destitute by robbing her own wealth. "Your band of robbers," she went on, "have sent an anonymous message threatening to loot the treasury." I remained as silent as a thief. "I was advising Brother Nikhil to seek your protection," she continued banteringly. "Call off your minions, robber queen. We will offer sacrifices to your Bande Mataram if you will but save us. What doings there are these days, but for the Lord's sake, spare our house at least from burglary." I hastened into my room without reply. I put my foot on quicksand and couldn't withdraw it now. Struggling would only send me down deeper. If only the time would arrive when I could hand over the money to Sandeep. I could bear it no longer. Its weight was breaking through my very ribs. It was still early when I got word that Sandeep was awaiting me. Today I had no thought of adornment. Wrapped as I was in my shawl, I went off to the outer apartments. As I entered the sitting room, I saw Sandeep with Amulya there, together. All my dignity, all my honor, seemed to run tingling through my body from head to foot and vanish into the ground. I should have to lay bare a woman's uttermost shame in sight of this boy. Could they have been discussing my deed in their meeting place? Had any vestige of a veil of decency been left for me? We women shall never understand men. When they are bent on making a road for some achievement, they think nothing of breaking the heart of the world into pieces to pave it for the progress of their chariot. When they're mad with the intoxication of creating, they rejoice in destroying the creation of the Creator. This heartbreaking shame of mine will not attract even a glance from their eyes. They've no feeling for life itself. All their eagerness is for their object, and what am I to them but a meadow flower in the path of a torrent and flood? What good will this extinction of me be to Sandeep? Only 5,000 rupees. Wasn't I good for something more than 5,000 rupees? Yes, indeed. Did I not learn that from Sandeep himself, and was I not able in the light of this knowledge to despise all else in the world? I was the giver of light, of life, of Shakti, of immortality. In that belief, in that joy, I burst all my bounds and had come into the open. Had any of them fulfilled for me that joy, I should have lived in my death. I should have lost nothing in my loss of my all. Do they want to tell me now that all this was false? The psalm of my praise, which was sung so devotedly, did it bring me down from my heaven, not to make heaven of earth, but only to level heaven itself with the dust?